So my background and journey through the public sector is actually quite an interesting one when I think about it from a service delivery and technology perspective. I started at 16 at the State Superannuation Board, and I used to make microfilms. So we had a great big camera, we used to put the papers on, and we'd made the microfilms for people to be able to use them. I then went to National Parks and Wildlife and worked at National Parks and Wildlife for many years. I worked at Family Community Services, Education, Industrial Relations, a couple of other government departments in there. Then came over to the Department of Justice and worked at Births, Deaths and Marriages, where I've seen out a lot of my career and have gone up through the agency and ended up as the registrar. And from starting at those microfilms to now having 86% of our services online at Births, Deaths and Marriages is a journey that I never thought I would have seen at 16 when I started in the public sector, that's for sure. The things that I'm responsible for in my current role as the Registrar of Births, Deaths and Marriages is the most important one, which is the recording of civil registration for our state of New South Wales. There are 8 births, deaths and marriages across the country that all contribute to our vital statistics for the country. So keeping those records accurate and safe and in perpetuity, which is the interesting piece, for our citizens is the most important thing that we do in births, deaths and marriages. And we also release certificates which help us all, be able to interact within our society and get things like a passport and a driver's licence, for instance. So they're very important documents, and it's a very, very important information that our role is to keep safe. My personal theory on innovation is very much around we should never let a crisis go to waste, and the pandemic was definitely one of those. But also remembering that, as Voltaire said, that perfection is the enemy of the good. So things don't have to be absolutely perfect for us to be able to create and think outside the box, to do something different and trial it, pilot it, launch it, see how it goes and iterate and make it better as we go. But we shouldn't, we need to throw off the shackles of constraint, really. Public service is, a brilliant place for us to be innovating, and there's a history of innovation throughout the public sector, over the years, and we should really remember that and grab hold of it and continue to innovate. So great innovation to me is about truly understanding what our people want, so what our citizens want. We also need to make sure that obviously there's a legislative base to a lot of the things that we do in the public sector, but not letting that constrain us. And I think some great innovation comes from when you think about how to best work with community, with industry, and with the public sector. So one of the things from my perspective is, Service New South Wales, whoever would have thought that, we would have one agency that did all of our face-to-face service delivery. So really that was truly innovative, and it stands up as best practice everywhere in this country and internationally. So that was truly innovative, but also all the digital work that we do across New South Wales, a lot of it is very innovative. And there's so many of them that, we could talk for hours on that, and that's exactly why we're here today, to see where we're innovating at this point in time in New South Wales. The advice I'd give to people who are struggling with innovation and implementing that within their businesses in the public sector is have a look and see what's out there. Go and talk to the people who have done this and get some lessons from them. I know that the work that we've done at Births, Deaths and Marriages, we never would have succeeded and been so successful in the launch of the products that we've launched from a digital perspective if we hadn't gone and talked to other people. And we talked to New Zealand about what they had done. We talked to Queensland about what they've done. We've looked internationally for solutions to broader problems. And it might not be the thing that you're actually looking at, but it might be something that's a bit different that you can go, actually, if we looked at that and talked to those people of what they did, we could apply this here. So, sharing your own lessons, but getting lessons from other people is truly a great way to get better at what we do. And it helps us to innovate and to, really succeed. So the best part about attending things like Innovate New South Wales is actually listening to all the amazing things that people do across the public sector that we don't always hear about. And I think that they're really important. And obviously, I love to be able to share, the success that we've had at Births, Deaths and Marriages as well, and being able to, let people know the good, the bad and the ugly, I think is actually really, really important. So coming here, sharing our stories is so important, and I love to hear what other people have done so I can learn from that. I would describe today's event to a friend as some of the brains trust of the New South Wales Public Service.